Good afternoon, welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. As you can see on your screen, my name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by the man that we call Baby.
Hiya!
I'll read, babe. Welcome in.
Hello, Graham.
Welcome in.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in.
How are we all doing? Welcome into the stream. As mentioned, my name is Graham. This has been We Are Ice Cream Uploads in true ice creamy fashion. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast.
Even if we do say so ourselves.
I was like, don't know what he's saying here. It's like, it's like when your TV buggers up. So yeah, UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We're going to bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. Over the next hour or so, we will then bring you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. But we want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. But it's not just the stream. The live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. There is lots of places where over 165,000 people, which I know we say this all the time, but that's a fucking lot of people.
It is a lot of numbers.
To do anything in your life and have it be seen or heard by 165,000 people is monumental.
Yep.
So, yeah, nice. We're smashing it. Nice. Fucking, yeah, boy. If you want to smash it and help us smash it, then do feel free to get involved. So that 165,000 people... I mean, we'll make it sound like it's every show that everyone listens to, but in total, do feel free to get involved on behalf of those people. They would very, very much appreciate it. Before we jump into anything, you're not prepped for something?
No.
Because it's just coming to my mind when I've just seen it then.
We're 12 minutes late.
Yeah. So, a couple of things to mention. First up, do you want to subscribe to the channel? You can do it if you want. You know, if you want to subscribe, we wouldn't stop you. But the reason I'm saying that is it costs you money, by the way. So if you don't want to, feel free to not to. But if you did subscribe to the channel, all subscriptions do help keep the lights and mics on in the studio. So anyone that does sub to the channel gets entered into a little bit of a giveaway where we give something back every month, just as a thank you for the people that do help support us. You don't have to... sub to the channel, but if you do, you will be entered into the loot drop, which is just our monthly giveaway just for people that are part of the financial support on the channel. We give it something back, and this month's prize is a copy of FIFA 23 on the platform of your choice. If you think, do you know what, I've seen Baby playing FIFA, probably not this weekend, but I've seen him play it a few weekends before, and you think, do you know what, I'd like to play a few games of FIFA myself. Well, we will give one person that's a sub a copy of that game next week. We will do the loot drop early next week. It closes at 3 p.m. on Monday, though. So if you are not a sub to the channel at 3 p.m. on Monday, you will not be in. If you are a sub at 3 p.m. on Monday, you don't need to do anything else. You will be in the loot drop and you will have a chance of winning. Speaking of winning... we've already given away a copy of Call of Duty this week. Shout out to Zakla, who won that on Monday.
Yep.
And then on Tuesday, we drew our Astro A40 headset giveaway winner, which was...
Lucy's number.
And we said, as always, 48 hours to claim the prize. Lucy has not claimed that prize. So as of... it was probably more like 25 minutes ago, but we were generous with the time and said we'll give it till 2:20. But 15 minutes ago-ish, that time lapsed. So we are now ready to do the draw again. So if you're interested in bagging yourself an Astro A40 headset and you have already entered the giveaway, you can enter into the giveaway. Nice. Look at that. Look at that absolute modelage. This is where I'd flick to the close cam so you can see it. But oh, bollocks, I pressed the wrong button. We'll go to the console frame anyway instead. Nice. That's where I was going to go. I mean, I was going to just show the dark room with the camera that's pointing in the wrong direction, but fine. So yes, as Forney says in the chat, we are going to redraw this giveaway. So you can see there, that is the tweet, the comp tweet. You can't enter in. You have to be into it. As of last week, as of before the 31st. I think it was like was it midnight 31st or something?
No,
4 p.m.
this was
31st?
4 p.m.
So 4 p.m. Monday, it closed. If you haven't entered by that point, you're not in it. You ain't in it. You ain't in it. So we are doing the draw, as you can see there, for one A40 TR headset provided by Astro Gaming UK. For anyone to be involved in this, they have to follow us, follow Astro Gaming UK, retweet that tweet, and then we need them to have responded tagging someone else. If they don't do all of those elements, they're not in. So even if you follow us and Astro and retweet the tweet, if you haven't tagged a friend, it doesn't count. And we will check every element of that to make sure, as we did with Lucy,
and then a lot of numbers.
The other day, Lucy won, but didn't claim it in the Discord, which is part of the terms and conditions. Always read the small print, ladies and gentlemen. It says it on the image down there. And it also said it, to make sure it wasn't small print, it said it in the responding tweets as well, so you need to check out the tweets and stuff for the details. Anyway, without further ado, Mr. Bibb.
Let's continue. So there was 363 entries loaded, as we mentioned the other day. Yes, because there was 3 that was after 4 p.m, which is your top 3 here.
So Lauren, Batista, Joshua and Marty D, Joshua and Marty D, okay, a couple of hours, but Lauren, 8 minutes you missed out. 9 minutes technically. Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
So yeah, 360 entries. What if one of those 3 wins? We will redraw it again. But over to you, Bib.
Yeah, so as you can see there, we are pending. Oh, do you want to move us to the top left?
I can't see the pit button. I'm blind. There it is. Nice. Top left. I'm not going to do the...
So we got pending 363 entries, but obviously that's 360 taking out the 3 that were entered after the fact. There can only be 1.
There can be only 1.
All right, so let's see who... Congratulations, Beans. I'm only joking.
Congratulations to... not following. Chase Ogden entered but didn't follow, so retweeted the tweet but didn't get involved. So Ayub has entered.
Let's have a look.
They do follow us. They do follow Astro. Did Ayub, A-U-B.
Please not there. They actually... 31st was the last tweets that they've done.
They've only done 900 tweets, which is better than someone that's got like 16,000 comp tweets. You have to click on tweets and replies, I imagine, potentially, because it's...
Oh, yeah. I mean, ours would appear there, but yes, that's a very good shout. Tweets and replies. Come on, let's see what you've got going on.
Ooh.
I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I mean, this isn't a person that I imagine has joined our Discord after looking at the names that I'd recently, over the last 2-3 weeks, that have joined our Discord. This isn't one that stood out. I mean, they did a lot of competitions on the 31st and not done one since, which is interesting.
It is a little bit disappointing when you see, because we've got this prize, which is an amazing prize, and we're giving it away, and there's lots of people that want the prize but also support creators. It's people just like going, yeah, I'll enter into this. And even though it does say you have to tune into the streams to see if you've won, it says it will either be drawn on stream or social media. That gives us the caveat that we want to draw it on stream for engagement, but we have the caveat that we can announce it on social media if we can't get a stream together. So if for example, the studio died or we had loads of work, we could just mention it on social media. Anyway, we're doing it on the streams, and these people clearly just don't care. They enter that much that they just...
I can almost guarantee that this is going to be a rollover.
Yeah.
Already. I can already see. With all these, there is no way that everyone's joined all the Discords and stuff like that. It'd never happen. This is a big old sweep that I'm doing on this profile here. The ice cream uploads thing didn't work last time, did it? When I did control and find. I had to carry on doing this.
I think it only goes down so far. So, like, if you got a mega page, I think, it will only do the search if you do a Control and F so far on the page.
This is a big old sweep. I'm starting to lose traction in my fingers here.
Do you know what? I can find it an easier way. What is that person's Ayub
8444
at Ice Cream Uploads? Because if they haven't responded, if I search for Ayub844 and Ice Cream Uploads, both with ats on Twitter, it'll show me a tweet that includes both people, and there is no results. So they haven't responded tagging anyone.
Okay.
So Ayub, you ain't done it. Astro Gaming UK as well, just as a double check. Yeah, no tweets from.
All right. Okay, so let's go back then.
It was it just double check. Ayoub AYOUB 844.
No, it's got 3 4s.
Oh, 3 4s. Okay, I might balls this up then. I scream uploads. So 3 4s.
Ta-da.
Oh, okay, there we go. No, he has.
Okay, fantastic.
Nice. Ooh, good job there. I tagged my friend Rebieu They tweeted on the 13th of October.
Okay.
In response to our tweet. So they have done everything necessary. They do follow us, as it shows with the filters missed. None of the filters are missed, and they have responded, tagging in Rebieu. So Ayoub 8444
444.
has done all they need to do. Congratulations to you. Now all you need to do is be watching this stream. Make sure that you are aware that you've won, or hopefully you've joined the Discord already, because we will post this into the Discord there. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you can claim your prize. If not, we'll do a reroll. I think after that point, because the prize is essentially null and void at that sort of point in time, I think we changed the 48-hour wait period on that, because we could be going for days and weeks and months. So I think
we'll pop this into the Discord then and see what happens. Again, I can pretty much guarantee that this isn't going to get claimed.
Yeah.
Maybe rather than doing it on social media, next time we just include the people who actually want to engage with our stuff in terms of the Discord, rather than going to a win competition. Everyone who's in our Discord. Then again, I can export names from Discord.
I mean, there's 2 ways of doing it. So we can announce it if we tag at Ayoub on social media, then we are just letting them know that they have won. Jobs are good, and they don't have to engage in any content. And that is so. The reason we have people. We say that they will be drawn within the stream is that so that community members actually do have a chance of winning something, rather than it just being full-time compers winning stuff. If a full-time comper goes, actually this ends at 4 p.m. on Monday and they're going to do a draw on Tuesday, well, I'll make sure I watch the stream on Tuesday. I mean, if they'd have just put a little bit of extra effort into it, then they would have seen. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So Ayoub. Hey, Youb, you've won our giveaway. There you go. That's it. An Astro A40 headset for you. All you need to do is just pipe up in the Discord. As it mentions on the tweets, you have to be within the Discord to claim it. You have until 2:30 p.m. UK time on Saturday to claim. If you don't claim it, we will roll it over. At that point in time, because we've tried twice, we will change the rollover mechanic. Probably just do something where we post it in the Discord and go, "You've got 2 hours. You've got 2 hours. You've got 2 hours. You've got 2 hours," and then see if anyone claims it from there. There we go.
It's in the Discord now.
Nice. Okay, should we talk about some video game news instead?
I would love nothing more than to talk about video games with you today, Graham.
Nice. Well, that's exactly.
Oh, Graham, have you got a notification from my Discord there?
Have I? No, I've got notifications from someone else.
Quality. So yeah, we're just going to bring the news article up on screen now.
So if anyone was listening to this, the reason everything all went quiet then is because I was just responding to a message. So our lead story is written by Chris Scullion at VGC. Confirmed, PlayStation VR2 will release in February for £530. Sony confirms its next-gen VR headset will cost more than a PlayStation 5 console. So naturally, we went with the message on social media. PSVR costs more than your mortgage? Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, we have a friend that works at PlayStation because we're obviously PlayStation aficionados and fans, because PlayStation is the #1 console and Xbox smells like poo stains. Bib, have you got an Xbox?
Yes.
Yeah, Bib, what am I getting for Christmas?
An Xbox.
Oh, nice. Great. Let's go. I am wearing a PlayStation hoodie, though, so it's okay. It's fine.
Balance.
Nice. That's what I literally said, balance of the force, and just sent a picture of my hoodie. Anyway, so yeah, that's the reason we went quiet, because we a bit of banter with our PlayStation homies. Anyway, confirmed PlayStation VR2 will release in February for £530. We'll then jump on to talk about EA having 3 Marvel games. We'll talk about Skywalker Week bringing all sorts of Star Wars stuff to Fortnite. Modern Warfare 2 adding ranked play in 2023, and Twitch giving away Xbox stuff for free. Is it PC Game Pass? I think it is. Oh, it says it right there. Yeah. PC Game Pass subscriptions.
I saw the reason I knew about that is because we got the email from it and you marked it.
Yeah.
So then I thought, rather than just reading the email out, I'll find an article that says it.
Yeah, I marked the email partially because we also have one PC Game Pass code in that email as well. They gave us one for free.
Oh, right, okay.
So I was like, well, we can't lose that because one of us will use that. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, okay, start story confirmed. PlayStation VR2 will release in February for $550. Or £530 because that's perfect conversion rates. Absolute quick maths. Okay, you fucking nailed, mate.
Well done.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Got it nailed. I've only got it nailed when I can prepare. Like, I know if I'm going back that way now. And then back that way.
Because you could do a little bit of a wobbly head and check yourself before you do it.
No, it's because I now know whichever way I'm going. Like, if I'm pressing to go left, I need to go right, kind of thing. So I'll go like, ooh, and then.
Got you.
But then the awkward. Ooh, I've just stopped in mid-screen.
That was weird.
Just.
I bet you can't do that again.
It's not.
I'd say it's not even anchored to be there. Oh, dead.
Ah! Oh fuck! Oh, there we go. Back. Nice.
Oh fuck, we died.
So yeah, it's only when I do the that then I think I've got to come back in. I don't know which way I'm going now. So then it's like, oh, I've got it, nailed it. Oh.
Suds, how you doing?
Nice. Sorry, Suds. We were doing important things like pretending that we were on a Starship Enterprise flying around. Nice. Welcome in, Suds. Good to see you, dude. So the first article of the day, written by Chris Scullion at VGC, says Sony has announced that PSVR 2 will be released in February. The new VR headset will officially launch on February 22nd, 2023. The price will be $529.99 in pounds and includes the PSVR 2 headset, the PSVR 2 Sense controllers, and stereo headphones. This makes PSVR 2 more expensive than the PS5 console itself, which currently costs £479.99 in pounds, following a near global price increase. In a post on the PS blog, Sony's VP for peripherals called the February date an initial launch phase. There will also be a $569.99 bundle, which includes a PlayStation Store voucher code for Horizon Call of the Mountain. A separate charging station for the headset will sell for $39.99, allowing players to charge the PSVR 2 Sense controller while keeping the PS5 console's USB ports free. Pre-orders for PSVR 2 will begin on November the 15th. That's one day before David's birthday and about 2 weeks before my birthday on December the 3rd, just in case you wouldn't know. Nice. And players in the US, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg will initially only be able to pre-order through the official PlayStation Direct store. Sony confirmed in September that PSVR 2 won't be backwards compatible with PlayStation VR games.
Surprise.
I know. I mean, that's a massive loss for me.
Yep.
The fact that it won't be, because the pool of games in VR is already shallow. So getting rid of everything that's come previously, you're emptying a shallow pool out and starting again with a little trickle of water. It's just.
I bet you they'll end up doing it, but it'll be streamable via PlayStation Premium.
What, the PS plus. Yeah. Okay. Well, jump into us. Hey, do you know what? I'm not going to bother with the discussing nows for today. Apologies for anyone that does use that stuff on YouTube or on stream. I know when people drop into the stream, the fact that we have the discussing now down there is nice. It's just a bit of a faff. I probably need to work out. Like, maybe we just go back to having them pre-prep like we did previously and stuff. But we'll leave that for now. We are talking about PSVR 2 releasing in February for £530, which is more expensive than the PS5 console itself. What are your thoughts, baby?
The biggest bugbear for me, I mean, obviously this is infinitely better than what came before it. Like the original PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Bang.
Just cheers, PSVR.
Was a tasty bit of kit. It just lacked what was already on the market for the PC side of things, but obviously you can't use PC peripherals on your PlayStation, so having a PlayStation VR headset that I think was 800p, I think it was. It wasn't 1080, and it was just over 720.
I thought it was 720, but I could be wrong. I don't actually know, so you might be right. I mean, you've used it more than I have, so you probably are right.
But the fact that it's now 1080 in both lenses obviously means that you are going to be getting a much crisper visual than you did previously with the games that are coming out. Obviously, you're not going to be able to play games in 4K. You're not even going to be able to play games in 1440. 1080 is a massive step in the right direction, but I think it's still a little bit behind the industry market.
I thought it was like the fact that it was 1080 in each eye meant it was more than like what resolution is PSVR 2? Oh no, you're right. It's PSVR 2 for no. 100. I think you are right. It's come up as 1920 by 1080. That's what it says with the first things. I thought. I don't know, maybe I misunderstood something, that someone had said something in the chat. The fact that it was 1920 by 1080 on each eye meant you were like the 1920 times 2 kind of thing. So it's like having 2K, or is that 2? Well, that's 2K, it would be 4K screens in that sort of sense. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong.
But yeah, the fact that they haven't got... I mean, it's not surprising, is it? Because I haven't really had any backwards compatible stuff in here. Obviously, in your PlayStation 5, if you have like a deluxe version, you can play your PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions on this. But any other PlayStation console, 3, 2, and 1, aren't available to be backwards compatible. So this isn't a surprise for me. It's a shame, but it's not a surprise. Like I say, the pool of PlayStation VR games wasn't the biggest in the world anyway.
According to Games Radar, 4K resolution at 2000 by 2040 per eye, all set up on an OLED HDR panel with the refresh rates at 90 Hz or 120 Hz. PSVR 2 is certainly looking to compete with some of the best PSVR headsets. So there you go. It's 2000 per eye, so that's what makes it 4K. So I knew it was still a chunky size screen. But, like you're talking about, the fact that there's no PS1, 2 or 3 games there, or 4 games there, none of the previous PSVR games there, we are starting afresh. So we got 4K of 1 to 3 to 5 games at launch.
I don't even know what the launch game lineups are going to be either. Like, I imagine for the first 2 years, this is going to be trying to find its foot in the market. There isn't going to be that many companies that are toying around with the idea of creating VR games. There will eventually. Obviously, they might even make the games that were on PlayStation VR. I think Sony are hoping that they go back and make bigger versions of their games. So you can imagine a PlayStation 5 version of Arizona Sunshine. I
think that's what it's going to be. I mean, you look at where we are with PS5. PS5 had some launch titles, and it will have undoubted support from third parties and first parties going forward. PSVR is kind of like a Vita. You know, it's a mainstream, like, core launch from PlayStation, like a PS Vita was, but PS Vita, do we know it works? Shall we bother building stuff? Capcom going, we'll do a couple of... Yeah, we're done. We've done. And PSVR could go the same way. So, but PS5, you knew it was getting stuff, and it had some backwards catalogue stuff. So we knew games were coming. We knew there was the ability to play some back compatibility. But even still, right now on the PS5, we're getting you want that game? We'll remaster it for the PS5. You want that game? We'll remaster it. So to pad out the fact that nothing is coming, we're just getting lots of remakes, remasters. I would not be surprised if we get that with a PSVR 2. Arizona Sunshine was okay, but looked a little bit like, playing on a SNES. Okay, it's fine. We'll make the edges a bit rounder, a bit like the donut on GTA.
In terms of the way that the game functioned using the Move controllers, I thought it was fantastic. I think it worked fantastically well. I thought it worked fantastically well. So I don't think they need to tweak anything like that with the new controllers, because I don't know what's on this compared to that. So I think it might just be up-resing the textures and stuff like that to make it a little bit more easy on the eye, shall we say? No pun intended.
What do you think of price then? I mean,
it's outrageous.
In terms of, before I jump onto that, in terms of hardware, it is nice. I am impressed with this in terms of like what is there. I do want to say, was a fan of the PSVR in theory. I am a fan of the Oculus Rift, the Valve Index, the Quests, the whatever. Fan of all of that stuff. Love the idea of VR. We've mentioned this many times before. PSVR was okay, but you can tell that they just thought, okay, we have got a VR headset, and now we need to figure out how we get our hands into the VR headset, and we've got a warehouse full of move wand things. Okay, fuck it, that'll do. Whereas now we have bespoke wraparound controller things. It's just going to work so much better. It's 4K. There's less wires. It's going to be great. It's going to be great in that sort of sense. However, 530 quid. That's 50 quid more than the console costs itself. So is that a lot? We're in a world where an esports controller will cost you 220 quid.
First party one.
Yeah.
How much is a Scuff?
So there's the Scuff Reflex, talking PS5. The Scuff Reflex, Reflex Reflex Pro, Scuff Reflex FPS, and it's like 220, 250, 290, so call it 300 quid to get a Scuff controller. So 300 quid for a Scuff controller is 530 quid bad for a full PSVR setup.
Yes, because I don't think that unless you're buying something like a Valve Index or a HTC Vive or something like that, I believe that this is way more expensive than those. And the games that are readily available on Steam compared to PlayStation, the back catalogue that Steam has right now is infinitely better than we're ever going to get on PlayStation. What?
Third one up. Can you freeze mushrooms? What the fuck is that one?
That's not something that I search for.
Bibby was just typing something into Google. Just put "can you," and then the suggestions. One of them was "can you freeze mushrooms?" So there you go. It's just like, all right, great. Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind when someone types the word "can you."
I just wanted to make sure because I'm fairly certain that you could put the Quest 2 into your PC. I just needed to make sure that obviously you can do that obviously before I used it as something as what I'm about to say. So even on Facebook Marketplace, if you wanted to buy a second-hand Oculus Quest 2, you're looking at between 150 and 200 pound brand new. I think they're about 300 quid. I'm not too sure. It's been a while since I've checked. So that's still 250 quid cheaper than what PlayStation are going to offer.
I mean, you can use the Quest standalone as well.
Yeah.
If you want to play the heavier lifting games, you'll need to plug it into your PC.
Yeah, which obviously that's something that you'd want to do anyway. Like, if you wanted to play Resident Evil 7 or eventually when Resident Evil 4 comes out, I think, yeah.
Is it Oculus that has Half-Life, or is that's Valve in it?
Yeah,
Index.
Index. Yeah. So you can use your fingers and stuff. So, I mean, for the price point, I think it's expensive, and without the support, I think it's a very difficult sell in terms of what else is already on the market.
The interesting thing there is just chatting to a buddy of ours at PlayStation, and one of the things that he actually sent back about this article, which I didn't realise because it didn't actually mention it in the article, is it sounds super expensive, because I was thinking it was about $250 for the last. To get PSVR was about $250. We're now looking at $530, but you had to buy the ones separately. Yeah. You had to buy the headpieces and the audio stuff separately. So when you actually put it all together, it's actually about someone might say it's actually 100 quid more. I don't know what the exact figure is, but you're looking at least 450 quid to get last gen, I believe, brand new. It was about that 450-ish all in, maybe five, maybe more. So in that sense, it's kind of on par with last generation. And that's just the thing. This is where we get like, is that a bad thing? I mean,
off the bat, I genuinely think it is. But I mean, I would hold back releasing a game like PlayStation would want to release a console with a first-party game, like we got with Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, those are the games you can't. I think it's a very difficult sell to send something to the market without the support off the bat. Now, the support off the bat with these might end up being the gimmicky games that we got. Was it PlayStation Worlds? Was that the tie-in game with VR last time?
Yeah.
And then shortly after, we did end up getting some half decent games. I think there was like Rush of Blood, which was the Until Dawn game.
There was Blood and Diamonds or something. Truth and Blood and Truth. Truth and Blood and Diamonds and Truth and Diamonds and Blood.
And then eventually, like we keep on saying, we moved on to the likes of Resident Evil 7. Then we moved on to Arizona Sunshine and all the other games that came after it. Gran Turismo, Sport, VR,
Star Wars Squadrons, and stuff like that.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
I kind of feel like Star Wars Battlefront had a VR bit in it as well, but maybe I'm just merging that with Squadrons. I probably am.
Yeah. So it did end up having a very good catalogue of games, like really playable games. But if this comes out and you're trying to charge £540, £530 without the support, I do think it's a difficult sell. I'm not taking away from the technology that's inside it, because I do think that it will be worth your investment when the games arrive, because the quality of the games, hopefully, providing that again it does get supported, because like you mentioned it before with the Vita, the reason it died in its ass is because it didn't get supported.
Yeah, PlayStation carried on making games, and then outside of Japan, like Jordan said, it was the best JRPG. Jordan Enix.
They're still making games for it. For the
Vita. So that's NXGG on Twitter. Enix used to be part of Ice Cream Team. He loves his Vita and says it's his JRPG machine. He uses it to play Japanese RPG games and they produce them en masse. There's so much variety for that. But then beyond that, like the best use of PS Vita over the last few years was the fact that it was included in a trailer for The Last of Us or something like that. I was like, great, oh look, you do know it exists after all.
Yeah.
But for me, 530 quid for a 4K TV that sits on your face with console peripherals attached and an audio system. If you said you want to buy a 4K TV that's top of the range, that has an audio system and some specially created controllers, you'd be like, 530 quid for a 4K TV that, because it's on my eyes, is going to be like a 50-inch TV. It's, in that sense, it's not bad.
Yeah, but no one's buying this to watch YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. David says it almost there. VR is still thought of as a peripheral. So for me, it's too much for something that could be easily dropped when the hype behind it dies down. And that's the problem, is 530 quid for what it opens up in a world of possibilities in home electronics. Is that a lot of money? No, but in video gaming, is that a lot of money? That's an extortionate amount of money for a video game. It is, and it's not, but it is. But it's not, but it is. But there are VR headsets out there that cost twice as much, more than twice as much as that. Okay, well, if you're into that, then that's the key thing here is it's still an option. I do feel the price point makes it difficult for VR to ever properly get moving, though. And maybe VR is one of those. Maybe VR is an upmarket hobby. It's like golf is an upmarket hobby. Not just anyone can play golf.
Very expensive sport. Anyone can play it. But in terms of you wanting to progress, like I bought a £30 set of clubs on Facebook Marketplace, but as I got a little bit better, I thought, okay, I need another driver to be putting in. Okay, that might be 150 quid now. Do you know what I mean? But you're scaling up.
Keep upgrading your clubs, and if you damage one,
supporting my clubs. I'm supporting my skill level.
There's always the potential to keep upgrading the spending on your clubs there. Then there's the fees for your monthly subscriptions to your clubhouse or whatever, your membership fees and so on. So it becomes actually quite expensive in that sort of sense to run that sort of hobby. And VR is probably similar sort of price point. It's not obscene, but it is expensive. And that's where we do get the problem in this. It's not bad for VR to cost this much, as long as it's something that's optional. If games suddenly start having VR things in as a necessity, and you need to spend 500 quid on your console, plus another 500 quid for your VR setup, plus actually another 20 quid a month for your VR subscriptions and stuff, and the games are...
the only way that we can test this now is getting our PlayStation guy to send a couple of test kits.
Yeah. We'll
so
sort it out, mate.
Ice Cream Upload Studios, and we'll be able to tell you whether or not it'd be worth your money.
Yeah,
non-sponsored content.
I feel I would really enjoy it. The thing for me is, like, how small is the list of references that we have for VR? We say Resident Evil Kitchen, Resident Evil 7, Arizona Sunshine. We might throw in a Star Wars Squadron and a Beat Saber, and then you start going Half-Life Alyx.
Well, this is the thing. You know me, I play a lot of games, a lot of different games. I might not play them all for ages, but I like to test as many games on the market as possible to be able to say whether or not it might be worth your time. I haven't played enough. I know straight off the bat that it's absolute horse shit. But I haven't got a VR headset. I don't have any VR stuff. So if I did, that I would test them, and then I would have a lot more reference points. At this moment in time, the only time that I can test them is if I'm either at Arcade Club, my friend comes round, Samantha Steph, my sister comes round, Steph, and she's got an Oculus Quest 2. She'll bring that round, bit of Beat Saber, bit of whatever else.
That's the thing. That's kind of the problem in itself, though. Like, you haven't got one to test it, but because you don't have that many, you're not going to get one.
Yeah.
And because you haven't got one, you're not going to play that many. And because you have not played that many, you're not going to get one. And it's like this vicious circle sort of thing. Yeah.
Like on Oculus 2, the Golf Club 2019 is on there. So if I really wanted to, right, because obviously I want a golf sim, but they're like 20 grand. I've found alternative ways. I'm currently searching for an iPad to be able to play my golf sim on at home.
There's one just there, mate.
That's about 14 years old. It ain't ever going to run.
That's an iPad.
Yeah.
An iPad.
Yeah, he's got the really, really old first gen charging pins at the bottom.
Yeah, the big fat charger.
Yeah, from like the iPod Touch and stuff like that. That's how old school. There's no lightning charger on that fucker. But yeah, like, I would like to be able to get invested in it, because I know you can get peripherals for the bottom of your Oculus Quest VR2 controller that has a golf club on the bottom of it. So if I wanted to be able to play all these courses on the golf club, then that would be an ideal situation for me to be able to do so. But I mean, it's something that I do want to get invested. PlayStation would probably be bottom of the list for me wanting to be able to support that, because I know if I wanted to get into VR properly, I'd be buying stuff for my PC and an Oculus.
Yeah, that's where I am, because PlayStation, I want to be at the top of my list. I want to have my PS5 and just go, boom, I've got the games made by a developer that is massively invested in experiences and stories and characters. PlayStation, at the moment, in terms of the games that they produce, is more aligned for me for VR than what Xbox currently has at the moment.
Halo in VR would be pretty sick, though.
Yeah, just spacesuits and double jumping and wall run. It's like playing Infinite Warfare, me. But just green. No, I'm joking. But even still, you get me some Spider-Man in VR. Ooh, I'm going to throw up everywhere, but I'm going to enjoy it. Get me some Wolverine in VR. Fuck yeah! A bit of God of War. Fuck it. All these big, powerful story games where you can get into the world and the universe. Nice. So I would love for PlayStation to be the one that would go there. And I love the idea of just getting another peripheral. I mean, I've got a Scuff controller at the moment. I'm keeping my eyes out for Scuff next-gen stuff. So I'm the kind of person that is interested in paying a bit more for expensive peripherals, but a bit more is not more than the cost of the console itself. Mm-hmm. And I know the difficulty is, like David says, it's still thought of as a peripheral. It's not a peripheral, and that's the problem. Is it is a TV that sits on your face. It is a brand new experience that is opened up using your console as the base. It's not really a peripheral. It's not a different way to play the games that you're already playing. It's new games on a new system. But it is a peripheral.
Are you an early adopter usually?
A lot of the time, and a lot of the time not. Quite often I can be. Quite often I can be like, So,
are you an early adopter of brands that you have had previously?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I know I've got a proven track record of things that I can rely on this enough. Give you an example. If PlayStation rolled out some new, like, say, I don't know what firmware we're on. So we're on firmware 1 and they were like firmware 2 and it's got all this cool little stuff on it. And I was like, okay, well, firmware 1's a bit shit. And I know firmware 2 is coming anyway. I definitely will take firmware 2 right now so I can get used to it before it all gets dropped on me. What's the point in sticking with the past when another future is just about to drop on me? I'll go with that. That said, Windows 11 is ready to go. And I ain't touching that shit unless I have to. It's on my laptop, but I'm not touching my PC at home because I want my OBS and everything to work. So it depends. It depends on the situation. I often am an early adopter, which is why I kind of want to get this and I kind of want to get involved with this. And I don't think £530 for the hardware, for the technology, for the experiences and stuff that it unlocks is a lot. £530 for a gaming peripheral is a lot, and £530 for a gaming peripheral that hasn't been proven will stand the test of time makes it a hell of a lot.
It's not even the test of time though, is it? It's the fact that you could be paying £550 for a peripheral or a gaming experience that might end up being a paperweight for the first 5 months.
Well, it might be a paperweight forever. That's what I mean. Well, that's what I meant by test of time is like, because, it's great. It's not even out yet and it looks cool and it's got all these
in terms of it might be 5 months before a decent game comes out. So you could have waited 5 months.
But it might not ever is the thing. So 5 months, 5 months could be wishful thinking. It could be, think of all the games that are coming potentially. And that potentially, Capcom could go, do you know what? We are talking about Resident Evil 4 VR and stuff, but Resident Evil 4 launched and it wasn't that great. People didn't really like it. And there's not really a large install base of VR2 because there's not a large install base of PS5s. So we'll pause Resident Evil 4 now and we'll come back to it in 12 to 18 to 24 months' time. In 12 to 18, 24 months' time, they're like, do you know what? There's still about 8 people in the UK that's got a PSVR 2. So fuck this shit. So, early adopter, when did you last update OBS? Just the other day, actually. There was an update that popped up Tuesday, I think.
The last time. My biggest drop bollock was updating my Discord, and now I don't get notifications. So I am avoiding updating it like the plague on this because I do actually still get notifications on this. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put a pin in that. We'll move ahead.
Viv says, what's the usual price for a PSVR game? I don't actually think they're that expensive.
I want to say about £50.
I think it's less than that.
Is it?
I think it's less than that. I think they have to price it accordingly. in terms of the play base, the install base that they've got out there. I don't think they're usually that expensive.
I know when there was like we'll call it VR Worlds. I don't know what it was called. The one that kind of give you a sample of a bunch of games. That was about £25, I think.
Small experiences.
Yeah.
Wii Sports.
Which that's understandable, but I want to say, like, if the top level for a mainstream PlayStation 5 game is £70, that's the RRP. Most people don't spend that, but that's what it is. I think the top level for most VR stuff has been £50. They could have been full £70 stuff. Well, £60 it would have been last gen, but I think they were cheaper than mainstream games.
Yeah.
But even still, your point being $550 for the headset, $500 for the console, then call it £50 for the game. That's still £1,100 to play that game on VR. If that's the game that you want, if you are a PUBG fan and you think, oh, I've got an Xbox, I would love to play PUBG on PlayStation in VR. Oh, nice, £1,100.
Shroud's banging to that.
Stick with my Xbox now. Yeah, I did watch that. Shroud playing that PUBG-like-ish on Xbox.
It looked really cool.
A couple of years back. Sheesh. Okay.
What's the next one you're going for?
I was going to go into EA Iron Man.
Okay.
Nice. So next up, we'll jump ahead. Sticking with PlayStation. Because, that's the only place that you can play all the Marvel games in the world. Actually, do you know what? This is probably going to be a little bit further because it's not just PlayStation this time. But Tom Phillips at Eurogamer has the next story. EA's Iron Man is part of a 3-game Marvel deal. Assemble. So this is something we did roll over a couple of days ago. Obviously, we didn't scoop yesterday because we had the Instant Coin stream. Yeah. But we're back with this new story. It says EA has signed a 3-game deal with Marvel, beginning with its previously announced Iron Man project. We did cover that previously on the scoop. If you missed it, then go back and watch every episode right now. Okay, maybe not. That's according to Bloomberg, which reported today that FIFA publisher had inked a deal with a further 2 titles featuring Marvel characters. There's no word yet on which other Marvel phases might star in these games, which EA Studio might be making them, or when they will see release. EA has already confirmed Iron Man project is now in pre-production at Motive Studio, the Montreal-based team behind Star Wars Squadrons and the upcoming Dead Space remake. There's also recently been a flurry of other Marvel game announcements from other publishers. Marvel's World of Heroes from Pokemon Go maker Niantic, Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, both from Sony's Insomniac Games, plus an untitled Black Panther and Captain America game from Uncharted's Amy Hennig at Skydance Media. All of which begs the question, who would you like to see get their own game next? And we'll call it quits there. So we've spoken about it previously. EA has Iron Man in the bag, license secured, which absolutely gets me moist. The idea that the tragedy that was Anthem, the tech behind that could be thrown into another EA game, and we get those flight mechanics that makes us have this exceptional Iron Man game to the level of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from EA. Beautiful. But on top of that, they have 2 other games. Who would you like to see get their own game next, or who do you think might be getting their own game next?
I feel like you're going to have to go with someone like Captain America or something. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a unique world that they're going to be going into. Obviously, it's not going to be based anything around the films. So they could pick and choose whoever they want. But I do think it's going to have to be someone like Captain America.
It's interesting.
I don't think Thor would be even on the remit either.
See, I do like the idea of a Thor. There are issues though. Let me jump in the chat. Ant-Man, it'll be a demo / small game. Oh, actually, Ant-Man grounded crossover. Imagine that. Tickman. What the human termite or whatever it was called. If you've not seen, what's it called? The Boys season 3, I think it was. Enjoy. Nice.
But like, it has to be worthwhile. It has to be a big enough name that ends up selling copies without people even seeing what the game's going to look like.
You feel like it has to feed into what exists. So like you said, it's not the MCU, and they're not related to the other games. So we have Guardians of the Galaxy from Square Enix. We have Spider-Man and Venom and Wolverine in games from Insomniac, but they don't feed to each other, and they don't have to feed to each other. The Guardians of the Galaxy aren't going to turn up, so what they do in one game doesn't impact on the other game. So you mentioned Captain America. There is a Captain America game, which is a Black Panther and Captain America game from Skydance New Media. So part of me thinks, well, will they release 2 Captain America games? Would Marvel commission 2 at the same time?
Deadpool.
That's kind of where I was going to go. So then I'm starting thinking, like, what else is there out there?
X-Men.
X-Men is, and I don't believe this is spoilers. So if you just want to, like, if you want to shut down for like 20 seconds, it might be spoilers, but I don't believe it is. There is rumours and rumblings and hints that the X-Men are coming into the MCU pretty soon. I
mean, they've been teasing it in Deadpool for the last 2 films.
Yeah, but like more. What was the last film that we went to watch? There was something. It might be Doctor Strange. I can't remember what it was. Anyway,
Fantastic Four, that's what it's going to be.
I mean, it could be. It could be. Fantastic Four does have a film commissioned. Fantastic Four is on the list of like phase 4 or 5 or whatever phase it's going to be. I know we're in 4 at the moment. I don't know if it was within phase 4 or if it's part of phase 5, but there is a Fantastic Four film. There's Daredevil stuff coming as well. I have seen comments of people saying there will be. It's possibly, because there was comments about EA making Mrs. Bibby, Doctor Strange spoiler, Doctor Strange because of Patrick Stewart's appearance. There was, so see, that's kind of thing. I mean, I know it's all multiverse-y stuff, but the fact that Patrick Stewart appears means that mutants actually confirmed to exist in the MCU, which means that the X-Men can exist. But if it's a multiverse, then that's the way they can get out of that. But yeah, there was.
Hey, mate, by the way. I'm just saying hello to my wife.
Hiya. I was chatting to her.
But yeah, they did actually do a Deadpool game about 10 years ago on the Xbox 360. So it's not that it won't be the first time that they'll have done it, but obviously graphics and everything changed now, don't they? So it would be a much better game than it was then. Obviously, we have the likes of Ryan Reynolds voicing the characters.
10 years ago, Deadpool was dead.
Yeah.
And now Deadpool is 3 films in with one of the best stars in Hollywood. I think
Spike was like the only person that I knew of Deadpool before it started to come to the TV. It started to come to our TV screens. I had never heard of it.
I knew of it. And it was mainly through MCM. I'd keep seeing people dressed as Deadpool, and I was like, clearly it's got to be something of value, because it just looks like knockoff Spider-Man to me. like why is it getting all this? Because it's crap in the film. Like, Deadpool existed in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and it was Ryan Reynolds that looked some weird sort of...
He had no mouth, did he?
Yeah, this like stitched his mouth up and just, it looked like fucking Mr. Anderson. The scene from The Matrix where his mouth goes, "Poor," and then he's got no gob on him. He's like, what the fuck is this? And it was crap, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand it because I didn't read the comics. And I went to MCM, and everyone was dressed as this low budget. It looks like Spider-Man from the first Tobey Maguire film when he wrestles like Buzzsaw or Bonesaw, Macho Man Randy Savage, in his like pre-made suit. It looked like that. So anyway,
Someone was at an absolute mare there. She put a spoiler plus the Deadwood free trailer, and then she meant to say teaser, but also meant to say Deadpool. It's like, have I taken over your keyboard here or what? That's a lot of big mistakes there. The clues in the name, but we get what we're saying. The Deadpool trailer. With Wolverine, the 30-second trailer that the end.
And the thing is, like, Deadpool, there's all sorts of ways that you can establish, like, the fact that Deadpool is in the MCU as well. So that means that. But I'm pretty sure there's like conversations around, like, I don't know whether it's been agreed or whatever, in terms of X-Men has been signed over and will appear. Anyway, so it could be an X-Men game. Wolverine already exists in one, but Wolverine in the X-Men is a different concept altogether. Yeah. There was rumours of EA making an Iron Man game, and then we got the Black Panther and Captain America game announced at D23 a few weeks back. So is that like, oh, well, there's the Black Panther game, or is EA still making a Black Panther game? Because that's different. Black Panther and Captain America set in World War II sort of times, like Captain America back in the day. Could we have a Black Panther Wakanda nowadays sort of game kind of thing?
Well, I mean, we've got Midnight Suns arriving imminently. That's another, I think it's 6 MCU characters that are being chucked into that. So, like... I mean, is it going to be overkill if they're going to create something like...
One of those is Blade, who's getting a new film or something as well.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Deadpool's arriving into it as well.
What's his face? Nicolas Cage, head on fire. Ghost Rider.
Yeah. So it's like... The way I see it is, if they're going to be creating a single-player experience for these games, what story or what character do you think would be a very good investment for them for 10 to 20 hours? And that's where you go, okay, they're not suited. Because the story needs to be unique enough that it doesn't affect any of the phases, but good enough to be able to stand up on its own, which is why I think Guardians of the Galaxy worked extremely well. It doesn't touch on any of the films. It's just a completely different experience.
I do feel like with the logic, thinking of what's been successful. Spider-Man has its own films and it's in the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy has its own films in the MCU. Okay, well that's kind of a good metric then. Iron Man has its own films in the MCU. Black Panther and Captain America got their own game coming, own films in the MCU. Surely Thor has something in there then. Surely that's where we've got the God of Thunder there. Surely he could be one of those games. But then you've got obviously Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Queen, whatever she's called now. Scarlet Witch, yeah. Yes.
We're massively overlooking one major part here. A character that has already had games in the past, that's had its own film.
Hulk?
Yeah. Like the whole game was amazing.
There's Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow as well. She's had her own film recently. Obviously, spoilers for the MCU and stuff. She gone. But, like, obviously, she's got her own angle as well. Could we be going down Captain Marvel? But then when you go down Captain Marvel, you get the issues which probably come in when you've got a Thor game is Captain Marvel is strong as fuck, can fly at the speed of light. How do you make bad guys? Yeah. Just some goon comes up like, oh, I've got a stick. It's just fucking... So like...
It's such an incredible...
What the fuck? She went to DC. Who went to DC? What, as in Washington? Captain Marvel joins the boys. There you go. Professor X, he's been remade too many times already. I'd leave Professor X because I feel like Professor X's story in Wolverine and in the X-Men films and all the rest has been done. It was like the best thing about watching The Dark Knight and the Batman Begins films. I know there was obviously Batman Begins talks to you about how he becomes Batman, but it wasn't so much like, I'm full of anguish because my parents have died. Yeah. And it's like, we've seen that a million times. Every Batman film shows you that, like some play on the scene of an alleyway and some muggery guy kind of thing. Professor X, we've seen that story. Oh, and then something went wrong and he can't walk, but he's super brainy and pow, X-Men arrive. And it's like, okay. So I wouldn't want to see the Professor X story, even though I've got a lot of fondness for Patrick Stewart and Professor X. I'm like, okay, leave that alone. Let's give me a Wolverine and all the full X-Men stuff. Get me full on Gambit in there. I want to see Gambit properly represented, not just having one film and then just gone kind of thing. Make Rogue an actual badass like she was in the cartoons and in the comic books, not a teenage girl that didn't get to fully develop into the character. It was just kind of like, do you know what? We'll focus on Wolverine and leave Rogue completely, pretty much. So there's so much stuff that you could do with characters. I'm actually pretty excited to see what we get out of it. I mean,
again, it comes down to storytelling, though, doesn't it? That's the biggest obstacle for that's the biggest obstacle for them to be able to overcome. Like, storytelling in games is getting much better again. I feel like we're phasing out of we've had single player experiences that were phenomenal on older generations. Then it felt like from the Xbox 360 onwards, we just got multiplayer games, multiplayer, and it's just come and capitulated now, where we're starting to come back full circle and single player games are starting to be blockbusters now.
Last of Us Part 1 has a game that's just released and a TV series that's on the 15th, 16th January kind of thing. We've got God of War Ragnarok now. Is it tomorrow? I think it comes out, or today, whenever, I don't know. Massive game, huge storyline. We've had, sticking with Disney and EA, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which has Star Wars Jedi 2. Can't remember the name. So we have that coming soon. Really good game, really good storytelling, really great to look at, very good audio. So if we see that level of quality coming in an Iron Man game that borrows, I can't remember which one worked, which EA studio worked on Anthem, but if it's Motive that's making it, let's just say DICE. I don't think it was DICE, but let's say DICE was making Anthem. If they go to DICE and go, actually, can we just borrow your everything that you made for it, apart from your shit game at the middle, your progression, we'll just take the flying bits, we stick that all into Iron Man, and then we put a proper MCU level story behind it. If we go from that to a Thor or a Hulk or something like that, then it's going to be badass. I mean, Spider-Man. The best thing about Spider-Man was not the story, was not the beauty of the world. It was just being able to
mechanics.
Fly around on a web.
It's the simplest thing, but it's the most important.
But you do it 90% of the time.
You need to feel like Spider-Man playing the game. What is the point otherwise? Like, there's no point. The combat might be fantastic. Same with Batman. Batman was amazing. The whole of Gotham City and the Asylum, if you're going back to the first one, was fantastic. The combat is what makes Batman great, and the combat was unbelievable in those games. It's obviously been used throughout the rest of the trilogy, and then Gotham Knights, as well as incorporated a lot of the mechanics of that, and then making Gotham City scalable so you can climb to the top and then be able to jump off and use your cape to glide around, and then being able to go around the city in the Batmobile. Like, all of that stuff would be irrelevant if the mechanics of the game wasn't tight and made you feel like Batman.
I feel like
you need to feel like a badass.
If you can feel like Iron Man, that game will be phenomenal. And then I'm thinking, like, who else who are the easiest ones to make games for? Daredevil is a guy. He's got obviously superpowers off the side of it, but Daredevil is a guy. Hulk is beyond human, so that's difficult to make a balanced game there.
You're just smashing a lot of shit up.
Yeah, and one, like, we've seen Hulk destroy entire armies in films and stuff now, so we expect that level of assault in the game. So are you just going to spend the entire game just squishing people over and over again until we get these big soldiers in mega suits like something from Avatar coming in, which then you think, okay, well, now we're already struggling with pacing, so Hulk would be quite difficult. Same with Captain Marvel. Iron Man, obviously he is a dude in a suit, he's just a human. Spider-Man, we've already seen, has superpowers, but he's also a kid in a suit, so you get that kind of thing. Thor would be quite difficult. I do feel like the likes of Captain America, the likes of Black Panther, the likes of Daredevil, those are the ones that I can see being a bit more...
I think Wakanda will be amazing to knock about.
Imagine. And that's the beautiful thing then, because in Jedi Fallen Order, we got to see them making all these worlds and stuff and experiment and doing their own things, creating new species and so on. You do that in Wakanda, you can do that with technology and all the rest. So I'd love to see EA go at a Black Panther game. Obviously, Skydance Media are doing that with a Captain America one, but that's World War II-ish stuff. It's like Vanguard, but with Captain... I don't want that.
You don't want that shit.
No.
Well, Samantha says Multiverse of Madness would make a mint game. Like, you could choose to play as Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch. For obvious reasons, the storylines would be endless.
Just keep going.
Yeah. And a game of infinite outcomes.
Let me just jump back up a sec. There are issues with the Hulk license. That's why he's never had an MCU film. There
has been a film, though, wasn't it? Edward Norton did the original film.
Yeah, I mean, the Edward Norton film. So there was actually Eric Bana as the Hulk, which then transitioned into Edward Norton, and then transitioned into Mark Ruffalo. The Edward Norton one is considered MCU now, though, right? Because if anyone's watched She-Hulk, he references that, and the villain from that he appears in She-Hulk and stuff. But there was a conversation about maybe one phase, it could be two phases back, where they weren't going to make a Black Widow or a Hulk film because they could tell their stories through the other films and there wasn't enough content to make their films. They eventually did make a Black Widow film and a She-Hulk series kind of thingy, but I believe they could have made a Hulk film, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But there was an interview where Mark Ruffalo and co was saying, yeah, my story's going to be told through, that's why I've not got my own film. But yeah, could be wrong. Anyway, Muppets had massive success with Muppet Babies, so hear me out, MCU babies. Do you know what, that's a Disney idea. We got the Descendants. I mean, I have a child that's in her teens, so I'm aware of the Descendants, which was basically a bunch of kids that were all like the kids of Ursula the Sea Witch from Little Mermaid, the kid of Maleficent, and so on. I don't know if it was all villains. I can't remember that much.
That must have been a really dark TV series.
But it was just proper Disney cheese. It was like singy songy dancey. It was like High School Musical, but with Disney villain babies kind of thing. So yeah. Nick Fury just have Big Sam going around calling everyone motherfuckers all gay.
I'd 100% play that.
I think BioWare, that's it, did Anthem, unless there's another big Bio. But no, you're right, it is BioWare. But yeah, BioWare, Anthem wasn't a shit game
Unsupported.
mechanically. It wasn't a great game progressively in terms of what do you do, why are you playing it, what's the point? But BioWare did have some good mechanics. Like I will still say it now, the E3 trailer, even though the scripting in the trailer where they pre-wrote, because you were watching 4 random people just playing some games one Thursday evening. Hey, should we jump on and play some games? Okay, well, I'm going to be this class. Oh, that's great. You're always that class, you. Like fake, horrible scripted humour. Okay, get rid of that stuff. But the game looked impressive. So if we can get that in an Iron Man suit in New York, Avengers Tower thrown in, other key things like that, yes, please. Yes, please. Nice. How long have we been live for?
We have been live for 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Okay, well, jump through that one and then we'll
this one.
Yeah. We'll call it quits after this one then. So we are going to shelve 2 stories. We're gonna put Modern Warfare 2 adding rank play back to tomorrow, and then we'll talk about Twitch partners with Xbox so that you can get free PC Game Pass just by gifting subs or subscribing yourself to channels on Twitch. We'll tell you about that one tomorrow. For now, though, we are going to jump into a Star Wars story over on The Gamer. And I don't mean Bib. He's gamer. Josh Coulson at The Gamer has this story. Skywalker Week brings Luke, Han, Leia, and more to Fortnite. And yes, they've brought lightsabers with them, which I didn't realise until Lee was talking about melting 5 people with lightsabers.
This obviously just answered a big question, because me and Luke this morning, before I started pulling this together, was like, why is Star Wars back in it again? Like, usually Star Wars comes into Fortnite when they have something to accompany in it, like a new film or something.
Or May the 4th kind of thing. Yeah.
But it's Skywalker Week, apparently.
Because obviously. Because why not? Yeah. This week's ICU month. Don't know how you have a month and a week, but just go with it. Okay. Star Wars has returned to Fortnite this week in what might well be the biggest crossover between the two entities to date. Dubbed Skywalker Week, which in turn brings the curtain down on Fortnite maze for another year, the latest crossover introduces 3 of Star Wars' most iconic characters to the loop, not to mention a bunch of new items. And yes, lightsabers are back again. Fuck yeah. Epic Games dropped the surprise as the latest Fortnite update went live. The trailer for the Skywalker Week shows off a lot of the skins and items that are available now to mark the event. Leading the way is Luke Skywalker. A number of players questioned why it was taking so long for Luke to join the game, especially since Star Wars has been collaborating with Fortnite for more than 3 years. Jesus. Imagine having Star Wars in Fortnite for 3 years, which is a long old time already, but not having Luke Skywalker, who's the center of the Star Wars universe. What the fuck? Anyway, Luke brings 2 more central Star Wars characters along with him, Han Solo and Princess Leia. The latter's likeness to the real character is pretty remarkable by Fortnite standards. Darth Vader also returns to the map for the event, because what would Skywalker Week be if you couldn't recreate some of the iconic scenes between Vader and Luke? First one to yell, "Luke, I am your father," into their mic while playing squads gets a red lightsaber. Nope, that's not true, but you can wield Vader's red saber once again. You just have to defeat him first. Thankfully, you'll have Luke's blue and green lightsabers to help you if you find them in chests around the island. You'll also be able to get Vader faster via Luke's land speeder. The new Star Wars themed vehicle can now be obtained should you be lucky enough to see it drop out of a junk rift. Also, added to the game as part of Skywalker Week is an R2-D2 back bling, plus a miniature version of the Millennium Falcon to wear on your back. Needless to say, all of the above and more will make the island feel more like Tatooine and less like Fortnite for the next few days. Plenty to distract you from the confirmation that Yoda has been talking like that for 50 years just to mess with people. What? I'm going to click on the link for that one. Anyway, continue. New Star Wars show confirms Yoda is the only one of his species who talks like that. Wow, as if they're just mocking his disability. Wow. Talk like this, he does.
He does now?
I'm trying to get it through in my head. I was going to say, Bib, what do you think?
What do you think?
But then, what do you think, Bib? Is something else that I would say. Bib, think of this, you do what?
Well, first off the bat, Jack's first thing said this morning was, "Cop the Star Wars stuff last night. It cost me 4,900 V-Bucks." So he was. He said he felt he had a moment of weakness and ended up buying them all.
Good lad, Jack.
But yeah, this all looks badass. I mean, I love this stuff. We always say this when we talk about Fortnite, but it is just genuinely the Funko Pops of video games. Like, Got to collect them all, kind of thing.
Do you know, I'm pissed off with it. It's disgusting, and I don't like how exploitative it is. By the way, I got a really good Robocop skin a few weeks ago, and there was a Macarena dance which I also bought, and then there was, do you know, that was me. I was just like, do you know, I've only got 500 V-Bucks. I need to decide what I can get. And then I ended up buying the Macarena dance, and then there was something else, and I wanted that as well. And then I'll just get that as well. I'll do
fuck. But yeah, I mean, I probably won't end up spending the big bucks to try and get them all, because I think I've got most of them on my account anyway, barring Luke. So Luke may be the only one that I've got. I think I've got like 2,000 V-Bucks that I've just accrued because I've not played the Battle Pass for a while.
I used to have 2,000 V-Bucks.
So I think I've just got them sat on my account. So I might end up getting Luke depending on how much he is. But yeah, this is badass. Like, I don't know where they pulled Skywalker Week out of, because that genuinely is the first time that I've heard that phrase before.
If we get lightsabers back in Fortnite, then fuck yeah.
Skywalker Week every week.
I mean, it is great. It is genuinely great.
Keeps it fresh, doesn't it?
I know they've already done Star Wars at Christmas, and there is no Star Wars this Christmas, so it kind of would be a bit daft. But I just think if you'd have just held it like 6-7 weeks, we could have had Star Wars Christmas again.
The famous 2019 Christmas time. Oh, what a time.
What a time to be alive. Especially if you had a lightsaber, because you can keep... If you didn't have one, then you were pretty much dead.
The lightsabers that they brought out a couple of months ago was shit compared to what there was at that Christmas. Yeah, it was nerfed big time. Like.
I think that's because there was lots of people that played Fortnite. I think maybe there was two things. First of all, the zero build mode, people have more health, so it takes a bit more to kill them, so they weren't as powerful then. And I think they already had been nerfed because a lot of people, me and Bibi were laughing about it back then, because we've got mediocre building skills between us. We can build a couple of ramps, jobs are good and nice. But it doesn't matter if people can build like fucking Empire State Building above you. If you can just take it down, jobs are good. But people got pissed because it's like been playing Fortnite for fucking years, and now all the buildings are irrelevant because people can just... So they clearly nerfed it all so that wet lettuces like us couldn't just go in and just start mopping up, because we can shoot guns and we can fight. We've got situational awareness. We're just not the greatest at building.
Yeah, the building, the best thing that Fortnite ever did was getting rid of build mode.
So you put us in a normal game, we're at a massive disadvantage because we can't build. Put us in a lightsaber game, then the only disadvantage we have is taken away. Okay. Dubs. Yeah. Rotten to the Core. That's one of the Descendants songs, right? I believe that's what that is. I thought he was talking about you. You mate. And the only one that remember that sticks around in my mind is Uma, because it's just such a weird noise. Uma is Ursula's daughter. There you go. For those that want to know. Okay. It is nice. I can't remember the tune. I'm gonna have to Google Rotten to the Core when I finish, because I kind of remember it, but I remember it was a catchy tune. What's my name? Say it louder. Something like that. Uma. Yeah. Anyway, one of the reasons for the Thanos snap was to age some characters like Ant-Man's daughter and the kid from Iron Man 3 up for the Young Avengers down the line. Interesting. Speaking of the Thanos snap, I may have treated myself to an Iron Man gauntlet when I was in Disney.
One?
No, good shit. Like proper wearable sort of like light up fucking. It's the Iron Man Nano Gauntlet, so I can actually wear it. The idea was I can put it on and then play games while I've got my Iron Man helmet on for level 3 helmet game. Fuck yeah. Anyway, my kids love them. Chloe used to do. It's only because she's 13 now. She's too cool.
Way too cool.
But she used to have. We had like a really cool notebook that had like I can't remember the main character, but she had this book that had like a dragon on the front of it in like a metal sort of thing, almost looked like Never-Ending Story book. Anyway, got this book from the Disney store. I was like, just a book with plain pages and a bit of metal on the front. £7 million.
Standard. After Disney tax.
Just passing it over like that. Are you let go of it?
She drops it in the puddle as soon as she leaves.
Yeah.
Great style.
Yeah. Anyway, hashtag nerd, thank you very much. On that bombshell, we're going to disappear. Thank you, everyone that stuck around for the stream. We appreciate you being in the stream. Do stick around. We're going to drop a raid on one of our friends, because there's a bunch of them streaming today. And it would be nice for us to direct a little bit more traffic to them, get a little bit more eyes on what they're doing, because it gives you a buzz as a content creator to see people dropping in. So do go over, do say hello, do stick around if you want, and if you don't have the time, do feel free to disappear. But if you go over with the raid, not only do we get to help them out, but you can also get 250 sprinkles, which are the channel points for our channel on Twitch. Before that, though, Mr. Bibb.
Yes.
Is there all you'd like to add?
Yes, thank you very much to each and every single one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. We very much appreciate it. But if you want to help shape the final show tomorrow, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you want to... I don't know why, it's just completely gone out of my head. If you are watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there below, but all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions. At what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
7! Just 7. Not AM or PM, just 7. 10 AM. Oh, fuck.
At what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day? Bibception.
Nice. 10 AM. Ish. Yeah, we'll be back at 10 AM ish tomorrow. It's 20 to 4, so you can see what the ishes are like this week. It is what it is. But stick around. We are going to drop a raid on one of our friends. For now, though, we will throw up the end slate, and we will see you tomorrow and then on the weekend for extra games. Until then, stay frosty. Stay stiff.
Frosty!
Stiff frosty.